Hi guys, your girl Charina here, and thank you again for tuning in, and happy Saturday! Palm Sunday weekend, yes! Oh my gosh, Easter's next week. We have to be very, very, very diligent to place God in the center of our lives first and foremost, and above all things. And for those that are new, my name is Charina. I love being bubbly, jolly, keeping it real, just being me. And before you guys forget, please subscribe to my channel, which is right around here, and please follow my Instagram tag, which is right around here, and it will greatly mean so much to me. I've been called to really get on this vlog series that I named it officially Close Encounters with Christ. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below, and I will greatly, really be curious what you guys think. I want to keep it really concise and straight to the point and keep it real. So I felt that was the call that I should name this vlog series, and I hope you guys like it. So without further ado, I want you guys to have ready your H2O drink and your favorite snack so that you guys will have no excuse to be hungry at all and your stomach's growling. And just being casual, keeping it real, just hanging out with me, you and me, 101. And I hope you guys really enjoy these videos. So I am just keeping it really candid as much as possible, and as if we're having a one-on-one chat. Really is how I want you guys to feel, not like a full-on lecture, like just reading and then boom. I like to really just make you guys seem that it's me, as if I'm literally in front of you talking to you, right? So honestly, with that said, I like keeping it real, as I've mentioned earlier, and I hope you guys have been well. I know this whole quarantine situation is just really bumming us all out, but it's just the mindset of how we really make the best of situations, especially like this. So without further ado, let's get started. So today I want to talk to you guys about finding God amidst fear. Yeah, I feel that topic is really applicable to what's happening right now, especially the whole quarantine situation and how all of us are, at some degree, our lifestyle has had to be adjusted, right? For me, it's Saturday, it's 6 o'clock right now, currently filming this, and I typically on a Saturday I would be at St. Joseph the Worker Parish with my band, or finishing up mass, essentially, because it's 5 p.m. mass, and and I miss those days, right? So that's why I feel like God has really called me to begin this vlog series and to really take on a new challenge, instead of just being on a constant level of just being very involved in the music ministry. So in application to you guys, honestly, take this time and take a moment, with God, and just, let Him really lead you to a new calling in your life. It could be really finding out what your vocation is, or finding out what the next step is in your life, or finding out, what God is really calling you to do. So really, keep your heart open, and especially, don't be afraid. For me personally, I've seen the breaking news, I've seen, the X amount of death toll and numbers, and I've seen, the new cases. Yes, it's unfortunate. Yes, it's, not the greatest news I want to hear, but I'm not letting that get to me, and I'm not letting that get to my relationship with God. Really, it's very tempting to just be like, where is God in all of this, right? So that's why it ties a lot to the topic, finding God amidst fear. And that's why I wanted to emphasize 3 points to you guys to really fully exercise and execute during this time of quarantine. And the first one I want to mention about is persisting in perseverance. Yeah, honestly, we all need to really work on that a lot, especially, at least for me, honestly speaking, because, we have to just not be like, okay, I pray for the world that this virus is over. I mean, yes, it's a great prayer, but we have to really be very persistent and very persistent in our prayer, like especially when we really pray about the world, and especially what's happening right now, and praying that this whole situation will be officially over. Right. So that's what I was saying. Like, we have to really take this time to really think about these things when persisting in perseverance. So, just think about this. Like, are you being faithful to your duties? Like, when you tell other people about doing this, do you actually do it? Do you apply it to yourself, right? Or two, actually, when you're really taking this time of solitude with God, right? You have to think about, are you ensuring your relationship with God faithfully and sincerely, right? You can't just say these lofty prayers and just, not really mean it from the heart. It has to really come from the heart sincerely and genuinely, to the point where God can really feel you and really answer your prayers on a timely basis and really take it seriously. So that's why, like, in times of this, like going back to my first point, persisting in perseverance, it's something that we have to just take this time to really cleanse ourselves and to really think, okay, what are the things that are holding me down on this earth? Like, what are the things that I can actually detach from in this world? It could be materialistic things, it could be your sense of pride that's just up and above the roof, or it could be anything really. So like, take this time of this whole lifestyle change because of the whole quarantine to really look into yourself. Like, seriously, look into yourself and just really find the nitty-gritty things that like need to go, that need to just detach, let go, and just remove from your life, so that you can really focus on your relationship with God one-on-one and just be one with Him without any distractions or temptations, just lingering on the sidelines and just to waiting to pounce and like take you off from the track that you're in closer to God, right? So that's why, like, persisting in perseverance is very, very key, so that you'll be able to really see the journey and the pathway that God is really calling you to. So really, it's not easy, but we have to know for ourselves that we're not perfect. We have our imperfections, we have attachments that are just we have to let go, but we refuse to because we're just stubborn. And that's part of our human nature. That's part of how God loves us. He gives us that free will to just decide, do you want to love Him or not, right? So honestly, it's something that we really have to take on during this time, especially to really find God amidst fear. So don't forget that. I'll definitely remind you in the end though. So the second point I want to really emphasize about finding God amidst fear is looking to God with hope. I'll put the link here. And honestly, like, we should not take this time, to really waste this opportunity to do good to the ones who've wronged us. And essentially, with that said, it's a real challenge for us to just put our self-pride down the drain, tell the enemy, my sense of pride is gone, just forget it, right? And it's a real test of our character to really, just love your enemy. As God said Himself, like, just love your enemies as you love yourself. Simple as that. And it's really a challenge though, because I guess sometimes, like, it depends on what the case scenario is, but a lot of things can happen, I understand, but like, it's, again, that's why I say it's a real challenge, because it just tests our character in regards to really putting ourselves out there and telling the person, like, oh, like, don't worry about it, it's okay, like, all is forgiven. It's, for me, I've been practicing that. It's something that I did not come overnight. It's something that, like, God has really, like, morphed inside of me constantly with all the different scenarios and challenges that I've underwent all through this time up to today. And so that's why it's for you guys, like, just take this opportunity as when you're looking to God with hope to really, exercise, doing good to others, even those that have wronged you, right? And that's why, like, our life is an affirmation of Christ, really, and we have to really always be ready to take God's friendship trusting in prayer. Trusting in prayer is very, very important, and having the humility to even return to Christ even though we've maybe wronged someone in our life, right? And ultimately, our life is one big chance to not waste it, and for us to really make the best out of the chance, that life that God has given us, and for us to really not separate ourselves from Him through sin. Yes, sin separates us from God, but we have from the greatness of our Lord, He gave us the opportunity to utilize confession, right? As I've mentioned in one of my previous videos. And confession allows us to really make amends to Christ Himself, and for us to not do that same sin again, and for us to learn from that lesson, and for us to grow from that point, and to allow God to really forgive us. And it just depends on our humility to just go back to God and be like, okay, I've done these things, right? And I'm sorry that I've done this, and I really want to make amends and start new, starting a new beginning. And so going back to the second point, looking to God with hope, looking to God with hope really gives us that ability to not be afraid, of what's happening, or to not be afraid of the things that we've done in the past, or to not be afraid of what's to come, or to not be afraid of God placing an opportunity in front of you and for you to just say yes, right? So God even said it Himself, do not be afraid, and for I am the way, the truth, and life, right? And we all need to be reminded about how being fearful is one of the things that we should not be even exercising in our life. Yes, as Christians we will be persecuted one way or another. It is what it is. But through that form of persecution, it allows us to be purified of our iniquities, and allows us to be purified of our transgressions of what we committed in the past, right? So honestly, it's through sin that really allows us to be separated from God, and again, to utilize confession as a way to make amends, to strengthen our relationship with God, right? And so we have to allow God to really give us that grace to to be really humble in His eyes, and to just show our heart, this is my broken heart, please amend it, please fix it, please help me, and help me to not be discouraged or pessimistic, but rather just putting into practice that I place my hope in You, and I want You to take it from there and see where You want me to go, right? So just don't forget to really just look to God with hope, and look to God with with faith, to the point where it's just you won't be afraid of what's happening right now, and you won't be afraid of regardless of what mess is happening around us right now. So at least in my third point about without us strengthening our relationship with God, we ultimately need prayer. Prayer is so important in every aspect of our lives, and it keeps us on point in our relationship with God. So that's what I'm saying, the need of prayer is very important, that we should ultimately utilize and constantly practice and execute in our daily life. And without that, we wouldn't be actually strengthening our relationship with God. We would just be just saying, God, I love You. That's it. Literally, it's just it wouldn't actually go anywhere. You need to be able to deepen that relationship with God to the point where you are constantly open with Him, and you're constantly seeking Him in difficult times, in times of struggle, in times of uncertainty, in the clouds of unknowing. And with that in mind, it just makes us not ever deny Him, and it makes us be very confident and bold that we can handle anything, and with that attitude and with that boldness in our heart, knowing that we can handle anything is very key, to the topic today, finding, God amidst fear. And, when you really have that solidified relationship with God, you'll be able to know in your heart that you will not be afraid of anything. You will not be afraid of falling in love. You won't be afraid of, of what's happening around you. You will not be afraid of, letting someone into your life, regardless of what insecurities you may have, right? So that's why I want to make that third point clear, that we really need to emphasize about the need of prayer in our daily life, right? And prayer is very important because it really allows us to have that conversation with God one-on-one, letting him know, these are my fears, these are my insecurities, these are the things I'm afraid of, these are my fears, like everything, right? So as I was saying, like honestly, like when we constantly have that conversation with God constantly, again, it allows us to just be ourselves in the world for God. It allows us to be very open regardless of what's happening around us, like to not let the media really influence our emotions and to really rattle us in our thoughts and our decisions, right? And so, when we really pray about things that we really want, we shouldn't treat it as like a genie in the bottle, where it's like, this is my wish, rub the bottle and poof, expect it to happen. No, that's how some people think how it is, where it's like, I pray for this, therefore I want this to happen. It's like, no, like with God, it's like he has that greatness to really place the best in front of us, and for us to only receive the best of the best, right? So that's why I don't want you guys to make it seem that like, God is like a genie in the bottle where you just make 3 wishes and out it goes. No, like with God, he really takes into consideration your prayers and your desires and your happiness, and really morph it into giving you the best of the best, right? He knows what you want in your heart. He knows, the vocation that you potentially want in your life. And ultimately, like, he will lead you there. He will lead you there. We don't know what that is, which is why we have to ultimately strengthen our relationship with God constantly, so that, like, we will be certain that whatever happens, whatever, feeling that you may have of that unknowingness of what's going to happen, is just like, you are ultimately going to be confident that you will be getting the best of the best of the best. So with that said, honestly, don't forget our Blessed Mother Mary. She is always there. She's always there, just waiting for us to just summon her into our life and just being like, Mommy Mary, like, just take my hand. Maybe for some of you guys, trying to discern on a relationship, or you're trying to discern on, your vocation, or discerning on whether married life is for you. Like, honestly, the list can go on and on. But, with Mother Mary by your side, you have nothing to be afraid of. You have nothing to be afraid of, to the point where, like, you are in good hands. You have everything lined up for you perfectly. And it may not come easy, as I said. And, when you really persevere into, what God wants for you, he will really, put the best of the best for you in your vase. So to really sum this all up, so don't forget these 3 things: persisting and perseverance. Don't forget that. And 2, looking to God with hope. Don't forget that, because honestly, we can't do it alone. And honestly, we are just, a small fragment of this world. And, God is always there to really watch over us constantly. And 3, to back up the first 2 points, need of prayer. We cannot, build our relationship with God and strengthen our relationship with God without prayer, because we need to have a conversation with him. So, it's tough. You know, life is not supposed to be easy. God didn't promise our life to be easy. Just like 1, 2, 3, poof, you know, your life is perfect. No, like he really allows us to have struggles so that we grow in ourselves and to really grow with who we are and our potential, right? So, you know, don't forget about prayer. You know, don't treat God like a genie in the bottle. I know it sounds funny, but like, no, it's not funny. Like literally, like he's not, you know, just a God hanging out there and just being like, okay, what's your wish? Okay, wish granted. No, like he's literally someone who loves you, someone who cares for you, and someone that sees you with great potential. So that's why, like, as I've mentioned before, when you go through any door closures or any, you know, blockages in your life, embrace it. Just be like, okay, you don't want this from me? Okay. I know what you have in mind is way better than what I thought for myself. Just take that into heart and just have an open mind and an open heart and see what happens next, right? You could honestly just look back in your life and just be like, wow, I did not see that coming. So honestly, you know, it's a long story with how, you know, God can really be a mystery to us and for us to really wait. So that's why I like to add on to that, we have to really exercise patience. Patience. It's not an easy virtue. Well, at least for me. I don't know, for some of you guys maybe like easy peasy, but for me, no. Like I just like to know my answers now and just being like, okay, this is not for me, okay, out, done. Like no, like with God entering into my life, it's a lot of just like waiting. But you know, honestly, like the fact that God makes me wait, it makes me more like excited about like what's gonna happen next and like what God has in store. So that's how I look at it now, and that's how you guys should actually look at it too. You know, just look at it, just being excited for what God has in store and just be enthusiastic, you know, about, you know, what's gonna happen next. And especially with now the whole quarantine thing, even more so, we have to really just embrace and to really, you know and be confident that God has ultimately the best things in mind for us, even though it may seem like a mess right now, right? So, you know, honestly, you know, you guys are good. Honestly, you are all, you know, children of God, and you all are light and salt of the earth. And just, you know, remember that you all, each and every one of you guys have the greatest gifts that God has in mind. It's all about you guys actually finding that gift in your heart and really knowing deep down that, you know, your insecurities are not going to bother you. You taking risks is not going to bother you. You being persecuted is not going to bother you. And only just, you know, doing it all for God at the end of the day will really know, you know, that like you are doing something way greater than anyone this earth can ever do, right? So don't forget that. So before I go on and on, I hope you guys enjoy this video. Again, please subscribe to my channel, which is right here. Please follow my Instagram tag, which is right here. It would greatly mean so much to me. And I hope you guys like the new background. You know, I'm trying new things and new angles, and I'm probably sure you guys are curious what that stuffy is. It's actually Sailor Mars. Yeah, I'm a Sailor Moon fanatic, so yeah, I don't know, maybe should she be there or should she not? Again, I'm trying new things, kind of keep it real, you know, candid, just having a chat with, like, just with you and me, you know, just here, you know, in my room, really, you know, making the best of what God has given me right now. So again, please subscribe and please follow my Instagram, and it would greatly mean so much to me. And may God bless you all, and I will see you in my next video tomorrow.